Let me close that. I just want to make sure I'm getting everybody in okay. It's a little different from my phone. I'm getting better at this. It's like the floodgates at this time, so bear with me, girls. I want to let everybody in. Cindy, what lipstick are you wearing?
Love me pink.
No, I wondered if it was that one.
My favorite. I wear it every day. I love it.
I know it's so fun. I like that lilac one too. All right, ladies. Well, I'm going to just if you're new, just so you know, we do this every Thursday. It will be recorded onto YouTube. Give us 24 hours. We'll convert it from Zoom to YouTube. And then we'll post it wherever you probably found out about it is probably where you'll see the recording. But if you need to know, my YouTube link is literally just Jennifer Inlow. It's that easy. And we have a Lunch and Learn Facebook group if you ever want to be part of that in case there's other material or anything. And this is honestly, if you're new, for anybody and everybody in the Mary Kay world. It's truly a go get thing. Cindy is in one of my Bible study groups, in which she was so go give and so kind and willing to feed the whole Mary Kay world today on our Lunch and Learn. And we all know it's May-cember, and you know how busy May is. So friend, I appreciate you so, so very much and taking your time and your heart and your soul and your love for this company and the women in it and the women that surround you. And I just believe that you're always in the right place at the right time, right? God has you where you're supposed to be. And just so you all know, if at the end, Cindy will train, I typically come right back on and I will say any questions, blah, blah, blah. If I do not, we will be ending the recording. That just means they're pulling me back to take my stitches out. So just bear with me. We had a little bit of a switch today, but I didn't want to miss this. I knew this was going to be amazing. And so if we get to the end and Cindy, you're done and I don't come back on, give me a minute to unmute. But if I don't, everyone just know I love your faces so much. I'm sorry, this is a weird one, but I'll get the recording out. It will be out to everybody. It'll be fantastic. It should work out just fine. I'm just waiting anyway. But I just want to do that disclaimer because this was so important to do today that I was like, whatever, we'll just do it how we have to do it, right? That's what we got to do sometime. And Cindy, thank you again, my friend, for your go give heart and being willing to pour into so many women and our whole group today. And I see some new faces, so that really makes me excited. So I'm going to go ahead and mute so there's no background as I walk in. But again, soak it all in, ladies.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's such an honor to be here today. And I pray that all goes well with you and that you feel better soon, for sure. You guys, my topic today is schools out for summer. Okay, do you remember that song by Alice Cooper? How many of you remember those? Okay, does everybody remember that song? Do you remember being a kid and you couldn't wait to get out of school and all the fun things that you were going to do for the summer? And do you also remember, like, for those of you that have children, do you remember the look on their faces the last day of school? And all of our principals used to play that song and they would blast it over the loudspeaker at all of our schools on the last day, you guys. And I couldn't wait to see their faces at 2:00 at the flagpole. And oh my gosh, it was the start of summer and we were going to have so much fun. Do you remember that? And I love summer because there's so many fun things to do. And guess what? Those things cost money, right? So today what I want to talk about is I want to talk about ways that we can make money to create memories for ourselves and for our families. How does that sound? Okay, before we get started, let me take you back 36 years ago. Oh gosh, I was working as a corporate financial analyst. I have a degree in accounting, newly married, and I was working about 50 to 60 hours a week. I worked all with men, God bless them. I've been married for 37 years, but we would go to lunch and talk about the stock market, and we would talk about sports, and we would talk about work, of course. And so this particular morning, it was dark when I left for work, as it was most mornings. And I got to my office and I was walking in and I was like, gosh, did I break a heel? I was like, what is the problem here? And I get in my office and I close my office door and I turn the lights on and I look down and I have a navy pump and a black pump. And I was just like, what is wrong with this picture? I'm like, I'm so tired of this. And I remember that I put my head down on my desk and I just said a prayer and I said, Lord, I said, there has to be more to life than this. I'll never forget it. 2 weeks later, I was shopping with my mom. We were in the mall. I was in my favorite store, and a Mary Kay consultant approached me. Now, I did not know it, but she was in DIQ. So she had a goal and she had a deadline, and she started talking to me, and she invited me to have a facial, a free facial, and a makeover. You know what? She did everything right. She followed up with me the next day, and 1 week later, fighting traffic after work, 30 minutes to go get my facial. You guys, I had a facial and a makeover. And I will tell you, I fell in love with the products. So, what I want to say is, you guys, don't prejudge anybody's situation, right? I worked long hours, but I found the time and made the time because I wanted that facial and that makeover. So I drive, I have my facial makeover. I love the product. It's way less expensive than the department store brand that I was using. Everybody there had gorgeous skin. And so I was definitely sold on the product. And the woman that did the facial that day, she told her story. She had a high school education. She'd earned $120,000 that year in Mary Kay. She had a pink Cadillac parked outside. She had 4 carat diamond rings on every finger. I know she had them on her toes too. Oh my gosh. And she talked about the free trips that she had earned in her Mary Kay business. In fact, that year they had just come back from Hawaii and they had flew helicopters overhead and they sprinkled white orchids on them for a job well done. I just sat there and I was like, I didn't even get a turkey at Christmas. I was like, what? And you know what? She said to me at the end, could you use an extra $500 a month? And I said, of course I could. And she said, what would you do with that if you had it? And at the time, I said, we were getting ready to buy our first home. I didn't have kids. And I said, you know what? I would use that to buy furniture for our home. And she said, if I can teach you how to hold 2 appointments a week. Now, mind you, I was working 50 to 60 hours a week. I worked all through lunch. Okay. She said, if I can teach you how to hold 2 appointments a week and make that extra $500 a month, would you be willing to try? And I said, absolutely. Absolutely. That was my humble beginning. So, alongside of my full-time job, 2 appointments a week. All right. So here I am. I'm going along. I'm loving it. I mean, I can't even tell you the joy and the fulfillment that I got from holding appointments. And so I'm going along every month. I had a new piece of furniture that I was working towards. And then guess what happened in my first year? I earned my first free car with Mary Kay. And I'm driving my free car into my full-time job. What do you think I said? Should I? Shouldn't I? Well, really, what happened was I got a call from my mom that their home was burning down. It was a Monday. She had been homesick, and there was actually an oven fire. There was an electrical fire, and she called me screaming that the house was on fire. I dash out of my door. By the time out of my office, and by the time I get there, the house had burned down. So that's a Monday. They were okay. It was a Monday. I go into my office on Tuesday and ask my boss for the rest of the week off. And he's like, oh, I'm really sorry. We have a deadline on Friday and I need you here. You're going to have to figure that out on your own time. That's when I said, I went home. I talked to my husband. I said, give me a year. Just give me a year to replace my income. He's like, you know what? Go for it. So I gave my letter of resignation. And that was 33 years ago. Brittany was born very shortly thereafter. Lauren came along 3 years later. 20 free cars, you guys, four $500,000 years and rings, one top director trip. But I tell you what, I've never looked back. And the thing that I want to say is my greatest accomplishment in Mary Kay is the fact that I have gotten to be a work at home mother all of these years. I've got to be at the flagpole every day at 2 o'clock with my children. And you guys, I want to tell you, I want to remind you, God is at the heart of our company and he knows exactly what we need and when we need it. And see, she didn't know that I'd hopped into work with a navy pump and a black pump and that I was so over it. But you know what? God knew. And so let me ask you the same question. What would you do with an extra $500 a month in cash? What would you do? We have June, we have July, we have August, and there's so many fun things to do for the summer. What would inspire you to block out 2 2-hour time slots a week and sell $300 a week? Think about that. 2 2-hour time blocks. If you've ever had a part-time job alongside of a full-time job, what you know is that, okay, those are the times that you work. And when you can sell $300 a week, oh my gosh, you guys, would you get something for yourself? Would you would you get something for your kids or your family or your grandchildren? Would you travel? What would you do if you had an extra $500 a month every single month, June, July, and August? And I know for myself, and I'm sure you're the same way, is that I know what motivates me. What motivates me is my children, and what motivates me are my home decorating projects. Okay. I love a beautiful, peaceful, joyful home. Okay. So let's go back. Kids, last day of school, we always had a tradition. And so the tradition was I was at the flagpole. We would go to the yogurt store. We would get yogurt. We'd go to the bookstore. We would get all of our summer books picked out. And then we would go home. And guess what? They would create their bucket list. Okay. Do you have a bucket list of the things that you want to do this summer? Here's a bucket list that I saved. You guys, look how cute this is. They would decorate it and they would put everything that they wanted to do for the summer. And guess what? It was my job to pay for those things. And I was highly motivated to do that. Now, I will tell you, there are things on here that didn't happen. They didn't get their piercing. They didn't go to the over the line tournament. There are things on here that I was already from the beginning. No, 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 no. But you know what? There were many things that, and not everything was expensive, but it was time that we got to spend together. But some of those things were expensive. And so a couple of those things, I was looking back and I was talking to them about this. We live in San Diego, and so there's a ferry that goes from San Diego to an island called Coronado. And so we took the ferry and we rented pink beach cruisers and we cruised around the island of Coronado. We had lunch and ice cream and we came home. That was one of our activities. The Del Mar Fair comes to town every year. You guys, tickets are expensive, okay? But they love to go. And so we would go and we would eat and we would ride the rides. And that was an activity that was on their bucket list for the summer. They wanted to go to country concert. Okay. So I paid for that. A spa birthday party for Britt's 16th birthday. You guys, it was so fun. I had spa robes for all the girls that I had purchased, and that was their gift. And then I had hired a masseuse to come, and she set up a table around our pool, and the girls each got a massage, and then they got a facial. And then, of course, I had gifts and food for all the girls. And so that was one of the parties that she had because her birthday is in July. Those are just a few of the things that we did that particular summer, and things like that every summer. And again, those things cost money. Some of the things that my consultants have paid for with their summer money. I see Carol Siness on here today. And Carol, I love you. And do you remember that time that we did the STAR event? We did a STAR event, you guys, and we went and we toured model homes. And I'll never forget, Carol was like so excited, and she came home and you redid your master bedroom. I remember that. Okay. She redecorated everything. One of my other consultants, she wanted a gym membership for the summer. So she used her Mary Kay money to pay for that. Another consultant, she wanted to put hardwood floors in her living room and dining room. So that's what she used her summer Mary Kay money for. Somebody else wanted to take her family to Catalina. Somebody else wanted to take her family to Disneyland. Here's a good one. One of my other consultants, she wanted to buy her husband a contractor grade chop saw. Like, I don't even know what that is, but she was so excited. He really wanted that. And she decided that she was going to use her Mary Kay money to pay for that. Another consultant She volunteered for an organization called Generate Hope. And so she wanted to earn $500 a month to be able to treat the girls to dinner, to a movie, and to shopping. Carol also took her family of five. You remember this, Carol, 4 days and 3 nights, and they went to Palm Springs, and it included everything, you guys: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and activities for her family of five. And I'll never forget the pride that I heard and saw in your voice when you did that. Um, Again, summer gymnastics day camp, a summer vacation for her family of four, a tennis camp, back to school clothes for her two children. So again, it's like there's so many fun things that we can do. And what we do every day has value, and what we do every day makes a difference. So I heard a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. It says, "The only person who you are destined to become is the person that you decide to be." So again, what I'm going to ask you is, what is something fun that you would like to do either for yourself or for your family this summer? Okay. And can you and would you be willing to block out 2 2-hour time slots in an effort to make that happen? If you have a piece of paper, or if you don't, that's okay. But I'm going to invite you to think about these next few questions that I'm going to ask you. And again, I every time I set a goal for myself, I go through and I think about these key points. Number one is, what are the key strengths that you have that will help you achieve this goal? What are your key strengths? I know for me, I'm a woman of my word. When I make a promise to my family that I'm going to do something, I do it. When I make a promise to myself, I do it. If I say I'm going to get up at a certain time, I get up. Okay. It doesn't matter if I'm tired. It doesn't matter what time I went to bed. If I said I'm going to get up, I get up. Okay. So I'm a woman of my word. Another strength, I love, love, love. After all of these years, I love sharing this product, and I love sharing Mary Kay's story. Also, I'm a figure it out kind of girl. So if I want something, I'm gonna figure it out. Okay. Carol knows, I created something fun. It's called Operation Occupation. You guys, again, given my financial background, what I needed a fun way to be able to um, talk to people that I knew, but also people that I didn't know as I met people. I needed something fun to be able to say, and it's called Operation Occupation. And this is what I mean by figure it out kind of girl, is that I made a list of different occupations. And so, again, just people that I knew and I thought, what do they do for a living? So I made a list: an engineer, an accountant, an IT consultant, an office manager, a teacher's aide, a teacher, a stay-at-home mom, a marketing director. Um, One of my first facials was an engineer. She was a female engineer that I worked with. Somebody else was an accountant that I worked with. And so, and Carol, she was a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids. You guys, she's the number one consultant in my unit. Queen's Court of Sales many times, 100-star consultant quarters. She was a stay-at-home mom with 3 young children at the time that she came into Mary Kay. Lindsay M., she's an engineer in our unit. Bev, an accountant. IT consultant. I was on the soccer field watching one of my daughter's soccer games, and I was like, "Oh, I haven't met you. Who's your daughter?" And she said, "Oh, that's my daughter over there." And I'm like, "Oh, you're dressed so nice. What do you do?" And she said, "Oh, I work. I'm an IT consultant." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And here's what I said: "Oh, I'm so excited. I'm in a challenge to facial women in different occupations, and I need a IT consultant. Would you be willing to help me in exchange for a free summer facial and a makeover?" And she said, "Absolutely, I'll help you." Okay. So that is, and I use that then, and I use that today, because then as I meet people, I met Olivia, and Olivia was a marketing director. And I said the same thing after we visited for a few minutes. I said the same thing. There was a teacher, well, all the teachers, but this one particular teacher that I really loved, and my daughter's teacher. And I said the same thing. Oh my gosh, I'm in a challenge this summer to facial women in different occupations and I need a teacher. Would you be willing to help me? She said, I would love to, Cindy. I would love to. So I think it's important that you find something fun, some way to be able to express your own personality, because now as I meet people new when I'm out and about, I can also say the same thing. So again, let me ask you, what are your strengths? What are your strengths? Okay. And you guys, I think that's important that we know what our strengths are so that we can reach our goals. Okay. The next question is, why is the goal important to you? Why is this goal important to you that you've set for yourself? Okay. Um, I will tell you, I want my husband to be proud of me. I love having a beautiful home and I enjoy spending time with my children. Those are the things that I wrote down. Why this summer goal is important to me. Okay, the next question is obstacles. You heard Jennifer talk about it's a crazy season, it's a crazy time, but what obstacles could arise? And then how do you plan to respond to those obstacles? Okay, so something that I put down. Well, let's say somebody has to reschedule. Something happens. Maybe she gets sick or she has to, go get her stitches out, or something came up with her kids or kids are sick. She has to reschedule. You guys, it's okay. You know what? When we can find different ways to be able to sell this product, when we confirm, when we pre-profile. I'm doing a virtual Zoom, a virtual pamper session for a new consultant. Her mother-in-law lives in a different state. And what we found out is that the lines around her lips, she really, okay, if she could change anything, it would be the lines around her lips. And so what I did is I printed off the fact sheet for the Time-Wise retinol and calming milk. And I'm like, okay, over time, this is the most effective way, because I know myself, because I used to have those lines and I don't have them anymore. And so, but when we pre-profile and we ask her, what would you like to change or learn? She's going to tell you. And if we can find that out and we can fix it, guess what? She's probably going to want to buy that product and our skincare product. And so create different ways to sell the product. You know, lunchtime appointments. You guys, I can't tell you how many hand facials I've done in an office with somebody in the summer where people are really busy. But you know what? She'll close her office door at lunch and we can get the product on her hand or her face. That's okay too. How many times I was able to do that? How many times just sitting on a soccer field, because my daughters both played soccer, how many times was I on a soccer field doing an on-the-go appointment with something that I was excited about, like our new mineral facial sunblock. Oh my gosh, I'm shouting it from the rooftop because I had a melanoma 2 years ago. Oh my gosh, and 150 stitches on my face. And oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for Mary Kay. And I'm so grateful that Mary Kay is continuing to come out with these kind of products, and where I never would have really thought about it before. Once you go through something like that, I'm just grateful to still be here, to be honest with you. And so, but that's an on the go appointment. You can be anywhere and you can be talking about that and putting it on her hand. Okay, how about an obstacle that might come up? Well, I'm not a very good manager of my time. And I'm like, okay, you check with your family. This is what Mary Kay taught us. You check with your family what's going on next week, and where can I fit in 2-hour time blocks? Again, if you had a part-time job and they blocked out this time and this time, you would go there and that's when you would do your job. The beauty of this is we get to work this around our families. And so when she asked us, check, what do we have going this week? And then you said, okay, good. Well, I think I'm going to hold an appointment here and here. And everybody's like, okay, because remember, again, when they help to create it, they will be excited about it, right? Because they know what we're working for, and what we're working for is to have fun this summer. Okay. All right. How about, another obstacle that might arise, and this is probably for somebody that maybe might be more new, is, whether or not I can do this. They start to question, can I really do this? Can I not do this? And so, And again, my response to that is, you guys, fear and faith can't occupy the same space. And so, we really just have to trust the process and be willing to give it some time so that we can get comfortable and we can get good at this. And then the last obstacle, have you ever had a spouse or a family member say, all you ever do is Mary Kay? Maybe that hasn't happened to you, but okay, I remember early on in my business is that we were at the park on a Saturday with the kids, and Alex was with us, and I had blocked out Saturday afternoon 2 hours to go do double facial. He's like, "Oh, don't go, come on, we're having so much fun." And I'm like, I didn't really want to go at that point, but I was like, no, I have to go. And I remember I drove like 45 minutes to get to this double facial. I had the double facial. You guys, it was a $400 double facial. I had a booking and I had a new team member when I came home. And I came home and I remember I turned my money bag over and I dropped this money in his lap. And oh my gosh, he was, from that point forward, he was like packing my bags. He's like, "Hey, aren't you supposed to be working today? What are you doing home?" Right? And so, again, I always say, what's in it for them? And then the last question is, what will be different when you achieve your goal? What will be different? How will you feel? And what will that mean to you? Your next best steps. Okay, I'm just going to ask you guys, get excited again. Get excited about the summer and go make your bucket list. And then pick one thing that you could work towards that you would like to use your Mary Kay money for. And then create a schedule for yourself. I'm going to invite you to do 15 different occupations in the month of June. Okay, I'm just going to ask you to do that. All right. And then, you know what? I would love to hear what you do and how much fun you've had. I want to just close it out with this, which is my girls today, they're grown, but they still handwrite cards to me. And I just want to close it out to you about, again, my greatest accomplishment is that Mary Kay allowed me to be a work-at-home mom to my girls. It says, "Dear Mom, happy Mother's Day to the best mom in the whole world. I'm so incredibly grateful for you and thank God every day for making me your daughter. I love our relationship so much and how much fun we have together, how much we laugh, how we can talk for hours about anything and everything. Thank you for being such an amazing role model for me and Lauren. You are such a godly woman with the biggest heart. You are so thoughtful and so kind-hearted. You are so positive and disciplined and so inspiring with your healthy routine. I'm so happy to see how much you enjoy working out, and I love seeing you and Dad go on your walks together. Thank you for always being the most amazing listener and for always making me feel so special and so validated. I love our time together. Thank you so much, Mom, for Mom Mondays. It's the best to have you come visit and spend time with me. I value that time so much. I really appreciate everything you do. It means the world to me. So grateful that we're spending Mother's Day together. So excited for all of our fun adventures to come for vacay, girls' trips, sleepovers, lunches, shopping, spa days, all the girl things. No matter what we do, I know we'll be laughing and having the best time together. Love you to the moon and back. You guys, I hope something I said today has inspired you to take action this summer. You guys, there are women out there just like me that didn't know that this is what they were looking for. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Jennifer, for having me today.
Thank you so much for being on, friend. Sorry, I'm just going to sit back here while they're just removing some stitches. It's going to be fine. It was sensational. I appreciate you so very much and exactly what we all needed to hear. Ladies, thank you all so much for being on this Thursday, and I promise I'll get the recording out there ASAP for everybody. Oh, look at all the notes. She said she took 2 pages of notes. That's amazing.
Oh,
You did it. It was from the heart and exactly what we all need to hear. Thank you all so much for being on today. Have an amazing Thursday and a great rest of your May, friends.
Thank you very much for doing this. This has been fantastic.
Yes, I love these. They're so fun. Bye, ladies.
Bye bye.